3 days in Antarctica and I slept for the grand total of 6 hours.
Really? Please subscribe. Well, welcome everybody to the second episode of the Creaky Blinder Show. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most ambitious attempts to settle the age-old debate about the shape of our lovely planet. The final experiment. Now, this project took a group of globe earthers and flat earthers to Union Glacier Camp in Antarctica, to the land of the midnight sun, in search of definitive proof. Not that it was needed, but that's what we did. But did it succeed? Did it change any minds? Now, tonight, I'm joined by a man who was on the front lines of this extraordinary journey. You all know him and his sidekick, Rusty. It's Mr. Dave McKeegan. Good evening, Dave. How are you doing, pal? Thanks for being here. Wonderful. I'm wonderful. And isn't it nice that these things can go perfectly first take and nobody will ever know that we've just wasted quarter of an hour balls in around with things we probably should have set up ahead of time. But there we are. It is what it is. So anyway, I think the last stupid thing I said was that it must have seemed almost as if you were on a different planet because it was all so kind of alien to you, not something you'd experienced or seen.
There were some striking similarities between Antarctica and what I imagine being on the moon is like, to the extent that I actually took I did some shot some material while I was there that I intend on using in moon landing debunking videos just because of the similarities. But I think the biggest head screw of the lot was the fact that the sun never set. You were 3 days of endless daylight just completely wrecks your body clock.
So what was the mechanism you used to sleep? Because I know that my bedroom has got to be as black as if I'm blind for me to be able to sleep. So I can't imagine it would have been easy to sleep if it was 3 o'clock in the morning and it was as bright as a summer's day in the UK.
Yeah, the mechanism I used was didn't sleep, basically. I 3 days in Antarctica and I slept for the grand total of 6 hours.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we arrived, I think it was about 3 in the afternoon local time that we landed. Then it was a case of get to the main camp, go through the introduction around camp, show you around the facilities, how everything works. Then they gave us some food, and then they said, you've basically got a few hours to kill while we wait for, they had to finish, the staff at the airport, at the plane was still unloading everything. They didn't want to take us up to halfway point until we got our cases and we could get all the clothing, because all our clothing was in the suitcases that were still back at the runway. Yeah. So we had to wait for those to arrive and then get sorted out and taken to the respective tents. So we didn't get up to halfway point until about 8:30, 9 p.m. in the evening. Then obviously it's a case of get everything set up. Again, because it's endless daylight and you've just had this crazy time, your body doesn't fully appreciate it's midnight. Like Will went live with the midnight stream and he's going, oh, it's nearly 12 o'clock. And my head's just telling me he's talking like 12 o'clock lunchtime, not 12 o'clock midnight. And then straight after that, I was up. Toon went live for a few hours, so I was on with him. But the whole time, my tracking camera wasn't aligned perfectly right. Well, I just had to keep going and checking it basically and recentering the sun every time. If I'd left it for more than an hour and a half, probably about 2 hours, I think. The sun would have drifted out of view. So I was like, I dare not risk falling asleep because my body clock's so shot. If I fall asleep, I could sleep for hours, I don't know. And then I could wake up and find the sun's not actually in view anymore in the camera and that whole thing's ruined. So I just dare not take the risk. So I thought I'm just staying up for the 24 hours at halfway point. I'll sleep when I get back to the camp. But then I don't know why. I got back to the camp and this was gone midnight again. This is early hours of the morning. And it was like the adrenaline was just pumping. and I thought I don't want to go to sleep. I want to go and get me. I want to get my laptop. I want to back everything up off the cameras. I couldn't settle to go to sleep until I knew
Yeah.
that till I knew that time lapse was backed up off the 360 onto my computer. So
Yeah.
I think me, Will, Toon, all sat in the Fran, they call it, the food tent. We were in there until about I think it was about 5 in the morning before I eventually went to the tent to get some sleep.
So did you feel a certain amount of pressure by being the one of us who was going there? Because, well, not the only one, I know, because MC2 and Critical Think, you know, but what I mean is you were sort of there to represent the debunking community in a sense, and you were sort of confronted and face to face with actual flat earthers out in the wild. Was there any sort of nervousness or sort of trepidation about coming face to face with people you've made videos about?
No, not particularly, because